So firstly, I want to spotlight our two fabulous speakers that we have today here. Yes, you can see them waving. We have Bünyamin, who's a project technical lead, and also Ievgen, who's also a project technical lead at Spryker. So they spent a lot of time actually going through all these questions and coming up with the answers, doing some extra research. So firstly, I want to give you both a big shout out for the time and effort that you spent looking into these questions. And we're really happy to have you here today. And I think it's going to be great with the recording too, because all of your answers will live on. So yeah, without further ado, I will be happy to hand the floor over to you with our first question, which also serves, I think, as a nice introduction for the two of you. So here is an easy one to start. The first question that we have here is, what does the project tech lead team do at Spryker? And can you take us through a day in the life, or even just share more about your role in general?
Okay, let me start with that. So project tech leads are assigned to various customer projects for different purposes. For example, one of the reasons is code review. It's sometimes a performance review, and sometimes we are involved directly into the implementation in the technical implementation guidance service. So with the code review, we have a list of best practices to follow in Spryker, and we check if they are followed in the project level. And then for the performance review, we work directly with the development team and try to understand at which part of the software they are having a performance problem. And then we have different kind of tools that we are using to understand the root cause of the bottleneck. For the technical implementation guidance, we directly involved with the development team, and then we raise technical Cs as we see, and then we answer their questions in order to unblock them. Sometimes we don't know the exact answer, and then we being the bridge between the correct person to find the answer. And then, yeah, we sometimes share a custom solution for the project problems that are not part of the Spryker product yet. And then we share our knowledge that we gain from different Spryker projects. I think this sums up my general week or month.
Yeah, probably I can add a little bit to this. I haven't always been a project technical lead working with Spryker. I started as a regular PHP developer, but pretty soon I found myself working with agencies and customers. In pre-corona times, it was almost always on-site. So sometimes typical day could have started with a travel to the Tegel airport in Berlin, having a city, and then working together with development team in their office. Yeah, in a certain way, we got to be an experts in various Spryker features, functionalities, technologies. Of course, we don't always have an experience with certain technology, but it also forms our mindset to reach out to development teams in core, to the project managers, to whoever might give us needed information, and get back with the answers. I guess that's pretty much it.
Nice. Thank you both. I think it's nice to have a little foundation before we dive into the more technical questions. And here we go with our first member question that we have. So how do you differentiate PaaS or PaaS Plus with SaaS with respect to the Spryker Commerce OS?
Yeah, PaaS being the platform as a service and SaaS meaning software as a service. I think Spryker is best described aligning with the PaaS model because it offers a platform for businesses to develop their e-commerce applications. So when I say platform, it includes the composer packages and then the documentations, the servers, and the configuration of those servers and monitoring tools and all these, but these all can be customized according to the customer's needs. So we give the platform. And as far as I know, we don't have a SaaS solution yet. That's my answer.
Ievgen, or moving on to the next question? Okay.
We need to have a couple of questions sub 1 minute, right? Otherwise.
Yeah, exactly, because we have so many.
Yeah.
And so the next question has to do with Dynamics versus stores.php. So the first question is a best practice one. When should dynamic stores be used instead of stores.php configuration? And then coupled with that, the second one is, what are the pros and cons of the different configurations?
Okay. The point is that dynamic stores feature was probably developed up to request of certain clients which wanted to launch a big number of stores simultaneously. For example, they wanted to have a dedicated store for every country in the European Union. And doing this programmatically by developer efforts was too slow for them and too complicated, because first you have to prepare everything, and only after that you are able to work on your store. First you import the products, categories, translations, everything, only that, then you can review it and correct it. So instead of that, Spryker provided a feature which allows to create a new store directly from the backend, and it could be configured and launched without help from development team. Of course, it has certain limitations, and I would say in general that you would use dynamic store feature when you have a project which is live already and you need to quickly add a new store to it. And you would use old approach with stores.php and deployment files if you develop a project from scratch, which is not released yet, because actually would like to have the same stores on each developer's environment, on staging, other testing or development environments. So it would make total sense to have them predefined and set up out of the box when you set up a new instance. That's also pros and cons of it. So dynamic store would let you quickly set up a store online without help of a developer, but the cons of it are obvious, that this change is limited to exact environment where you're using it. And you would still need to somehow copy those changes to other environments if there's a need for this. I hope it answers the question.
Nice, thank you. Our next question is probably the most important question we will ask you today. Both of you have to answer it. It's coming from the community team. It's very important to us. What are your thoughts about putting pineapple on pizza? We must know.
Okay, I have never tried that, pineapple pizza, before, but that's not because I'm against it, because I'm not. I have tried pineapple barbecue before, which was delicious. And I think pineapple pizza can be also delicious. I'm gonna try it this week.
I think you will make somebody in the audience very pleased, very happy about that.
We will see. Yeah, as for me, I have nothing against Pizza Hawaii. I actually like it. And yeah, I have another experience. I know Italians do not accept this kind of pizza, but I went to some good Italian place in Berlin with one of my Italian colleagues once, and he suggested that we can order pizza with Nutella, sweet one, for dessert. And this one I actually didn't like. So tastes are definitely different.
Okay, I would try the Nutella one, I have to admit. Well, thank you both very much. It was a very important question. Now back to business. So this question is about the self-service tool. So in the 2022 roadmap, it was announced, when will we be able to spin new environments, etc.?
Yes. So what can I tell you about self-service tools? I'm happy to tell you that first self-service feature is already available on some cloud environments. It's related to adding environment variables via parameter store. It's documented in our Spryker documentation. So, and it's basically provides a naming convention for parameters in parameter store to make them available on cloud environment after deploy. So that's the first step. I'm not allowed to give any exact dates, and of course I cannot know them exactly or guarantee anything. But from my understanding, the next change in this direction would be providing platform access management. So creating new users, providing SSH and VPN accesses to members of development team, which is also quite in demand, quite an often operation, and that's where we usually have to wait a few days until all the required accesses are provided by support. So that would be the next one. Hopefully, we will see it somewhere next year. And yeah, exactly, to self-provision a whole new environment is the most complex feature. And it will come definitely after that one that I already announced. That's what I got on this topic.
Then our next community member question is, will it be possible in the future to extend the platform using PBCs coded in another language other than PHP that will still be integrated and deployed in the same SCCOS instance?
Yes, that's quite tricky one. But I was intrigued by this question, so I took some time to talk with people who might know something related to this. There's definitely interest even among Spryker developers to introduce some code snippets written with another language. So yeah, I remember there were naming of some Lambda functions executed in some modern language, like I'm afraid that I don't remember exactly, so I will not name it. But yeah, for me, it would be the obvious use case to execute some code written in Python, for example, to make use out of it. But yeah, at the moment, to make it clear, we definitely don't have this possibility. I checked out a possible solution with Docker team, and they confirmed that it's theoretically it should be possible to install additional software in a custom Docker image. So for this reason, it would be required to use Spryker Docker PHP repo, probably fork it, create a custom Docker file, build an image with new tag, and finally push it to the Docker Hub so that it could be used in the cloud. So those Docker files already contains our set of instruction to install PHP and necessary libraries, and the same could be performed with any other programming language. So it's theoretical, and I don't have any working examples for it just yet. Another point to get the same functionality would be our ACP platform, which is currently being in active development. And the main idea of it is to actually provide certain types of contracts for integrations of third-party software with Spryker features. So that could be another point of achieving the same goal. However, it will not mean that your custom software will run on the same infrastructure as the rest of the web shop. It probably more supposes that software is already running somewhere, and you can expose its APIs or make a request from third-party server to the ACP platform in order to trigger certain actions in WebShop. But that's another point to check out. There's also some documentation on ACP already available in Spryker documentation, so makes sense to check it out.
Great. Thank you. Our next question, also another burning topic. Some of you may remember this actually from our last user group meeting. We did a tier list of the top Office desk appliances, and it got a little bit heated. This was a very big question that we had, so I would love to hear from both of you. Would you rather have a second monitor or have an ergonomic office chair?
Definitely ergonomic office chair. I mean, without a thought. I always remember this scene in the Friends. You know, the Joey character is really likes to sit, and he has this television chair, and then he goes like this. Oh, and yeah, I like to do that with my office chair as well when I get tired sitting in the same position.
Yes, I'm surprised. I will also choose the chair just because I don't always need a second monitor. I know that a lot of developers in Spryker actually use 2 or 3 monitors, and they have crazy home office setups already. But as for me, I'm too used to work on the run. I already mentioned a lot of business trips that I had in pre-Corona times. So basically, I'm used to work with just my 16-inch MacBook, and that's good enough for me.
Hey, I'm with you both. My vote was definitely ergonomic office chair. Otherwise, my back would be broken. But surprisingly, the results that we had, more people picked the second monitor. So we were joking that they are happy to be in pain just to have the second monitor. So yeah, it was,
we are minority.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say it makes total sense, and you can get used to it pretty quick, but only if you work on the same place all of the time.
I mean, maybe it is because people are standing and working, because Spryker provides this adjustable desks. So
yeah, then you don't need chair at all.
Maybe there's also like a dependency on age here. That the older you get, the more you choose the chair instead of the second monitor, the worse your back
That's
is.
a good point.
I am old.
We're showing our age. Hauke had a good point too. Both were in the same tier. So they were on the very top tier of like the top things that everybody wanted. So just to confirm that, but it was such a hot topic. And Patrick in the chat says, we like being in pain, bad chair, and fixing bugs.
So the pain in your back is used to distract you from the pain of solving bugs? Is that the...
In the evening, to have food, no pain anymore, and not solving bugs anymore.
It's a strategy.
Strategy, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Next question that we have. Any plans to introduce a microservice-oriented architecture?
Ievgen, do you have any extra knowledge that I don't have?
Event. So if it's in plans, it's not announced widely yet. But what I remember is that at the very first years in Spryker, our CTO, Fabian, was strongly against microservices. He told that this architecture does not solve anything. And with properly built monolith, you actually can achieve the same. Let's see what future brings us.
And then a little background info as well. Can you explain the process, support ticket, things like that?
Okay, for the production environments, Spryker monitors all CPU, disk, and memory usages for all instances of all customers. And then depending on particular case, so if they reach to some predefined limit, and then there is an alarm going on, and depending on each particular case, the cloud team arranges scale up right away, or they can contact with the customer, depending on the urgency of the case. And this is one of the use cases. But the other one, for example, you are expecting a huge traffic during a discount season, like a Black Friday, and then we advise you to contact with your customer success manager as soon as possible to arrange a scale up before it is happening so that you will be prepared. And for staging environments, we don't have such scale ups, but what we have is t-shirt size environments that you can purchase for for the staging environments. Yeah, that should answer, I think.
Next question has to do with the Akeneo integration. Is this going to be via Alumio or ACP or both? Do we have an ETA?
Can be done via Alumio, but if you don't want to use it, you can of course implement it on the project level. If you would like to use Alumio, yeah, please again get in touch with the customer success manager to start using it. You can get detailed information about the price and how to get started. That's all.
Then this question is, since Link is depreciated, how are we supposed to connect, for example, to SAP ERP? Do we have to use Alumio? What is the cost and how is the integration architecture? For example, you need SAP ERP plus SAP CPI plus Alumio.
Okay.
We'll quickly jump in because probably Bünyamin is not familiar with the Link, which is another code name for middleware. So the middleware itself as a concept was developed in early years of Spryker with a purpose of providing some common tool to build integration with sophisticated data processing, transformations, and so on. It was used to build Akeneo integration, which was already mentioned. But it proved to be quite a complex software, really hard to use. One need to learn its concepts before implement even something simple. So yeah, it's not supported anymore and it's actually deprecated. So now, Bünyamin, let us know what you know about alternatives.
Is Alumio, and you can connect Spryker with Alumio, and Alumio can connect to SAP ERP. And then, of course, if you don't want to use Alumio, you can always create your custom solution to directly connect to SAP ERP. That is always on the table, but we are giving this convenient solution. Regarding the price, as I said in a previous question, you need to contact with your customer success manager to get exact pricing for your project. And how it is going to happen, so Spryker is going to be connected with the Alumio, and then you can make synchronization with any other services that Alumio has a connection with. So one of them is SAP ERP, and then you are going to make the synchronization with Alumio from that point. That's all.
Okay, thanks, guys. Next question, another burning one for both of you to answer. Do you prefer Halloween or Christmas?
Ievgen, I would like to hear yours first.
Tradition of advance here in Germany. So you kind of start preparing and celebrating a month before, which is great. I like advent calendars. I had really sophisticated ones in previous years with something to build related to electronics and stuff like this. The only pain for me would be what to pick this year. Of course, there's always default choice to pick up a box of chocolates and just open it one by one. And last but not least, that Christmas gives additional holiday days during the week, so it's also great. Halloween is a nice tradition, but I'm not that familiar with it, unfortunately.
It really seriously, and then celebrate like to the next level, and they have all these costumes and then parties. It's nice, but in Germany, I can definitely say Christmas because of this lightings and everything. It's nice, so I say Christmas.
Nobody asked me, but I have literally the same answer as you. Halloween in the US, Christmas in Germany. Yes. Oh, okay. Next question. So this has to do with the Algolia integration. So according to the presented roadmap, it looks like you plan to add more features in 2024. Can you explain what you're planning there?
Is working on lots of topics. I can talk like, I don't know what's going to happen in 2024 exactly, but there are some couple of things that I can mention. So there's this composable storefront, which is going to enable you to customize, personalize the customer journey, and it's going to be decoupled from your Spryker Backoffice and any other platform capabilities. And there is this consent management with user-centric. So you're going to manage this customer consent by using the user-centric service, and it's going to be straightforward. And we are planning also integrating Pay1 as a payment service provider. And then the PIM integration with Akeneo. This is also going to happen in 2024. And then cloud self-service gonna have additional services so that you can use more services as a self-service. You don't have to create a ticket to the cloud team. And there will be more cloud observability, and you can monitor more things, and you can have more dashboards for your infrastructure. And we are also planning to have Algolia search integrated with the help of ACP, and then reviews with Bazaar Voice. I think this is already ready for the customers to use. And we are going to also have enhanced click and collect. So I'm sure there will be some other topics, but these are the ones that I can collect. Unfortunately, I cannot give exact dates for each one of them. That's I don't know. I don't have that information.
Next question. How do we stop unlicensed usage of the Spryker codebase?
That 100%, but we can make it difficult, hoping that it would decrease the unlicensed usage. One idea that came in my mind while reading this question is maybe we can create some kind of a secret key, maybe basic authentication for each license, and then allow developers to access composer packages by using this key. Yeah, but we can also get in touch with the legal department to take actual legal actions if we see like illegal usage of it.
I can tell a small, so to say, anecdote. I don't know if it's actually something to be shared, but let's treat it as imaginary situation coming from early years of Spryker. I was requested a couple of times to check how many developers we got in certain development team of a project. And yeah, basically I just checked Git users in project repo and get back to the persons who asked me about this with the information. But of course, it doesn't address case of completely unlicensed usage of Spryker. So it's still an open question, at least for us, tech leads.
Definitely. Thank you. Next question. In dynamic store hosting, should there only be one domain per default? And if the customer switches the store, will happen via header or Eve's widget, one database, no more PaaS tickets for the new store, correct?
Yes, so there is gonna be only one domain for all stores, and then customer can navigate between the stores like using maybe select box, and the store header is passed in Glue. I'm not sure how it is handled in Eves. It can be maybe using a cookie or header as well, but there will be no change in the URL.
And our next question, is there a cloud exit strategy to reduce costs?
In my opinion, cloud is a good way to reduce costs. I mean, there are a couple of other costs when you're not using cloud. So, and I haven't heard any discussion regarding exiting clouds. Ievgen, would you like to say anything? Do you have any other information?
I mean, it's possible, of course, to have a self-hosted solution. You don't even need to enter a cloud if you don't need it. Of course, there are certain benefits and downsides of hosting on your own. And basically, cloud was provided as a service by Spryker exactly because of rising demand of having an environment which works, having support for any upcoming issues, and so on and so on. We tried to have partnerships with different hostings, but it was much more complex for DevOps from outside to understand Spryker infrastructure and to adapt it to their own infrastructure. So I guess currently using AWS for a cloud solution is the best that we can offer. But if you're confident enough, if you got enough specialists in your team who can set up their own server, work on it, support it, of course, it's totally possible with Spryker.
Nice. Our next question. Will Backoffice jQuery stack be updated to new composable FE tech stack?
I haven't heard that. Also, I didn't see any tickets in their product team, but Ievgen, do you have any extra information? Okay.
Not had anything.
And there were two questions in the chat. One was actually already answered by Guido, but we'll just keep going a little bit further and then maybe we can go back to that other question at the end. So this is all about ACP platform. When will ACP be released for external developers? It's a 3-for-1 question. Can custom ACP apps be developed for individual projects? And how does the roadmap look like?
Okay. First of all, it would be awesome to release ACP for external developers. And then, yeah, I personally support this idea. But yeah, I have no idea regarding the roadmap, if it is possible.
I can only contribute to this first one, mentioning what is currently missing for this. We'll definitely need to set up some kind of quality gate, so some automated checks that should make sure that the code contributed to ACP actually satisfies basic requirements, so it's not harmful, and so on, that it sets certain standards for this code. So that's a bit challenging task, which is still open question for ACP developers. That's what I learned from recent conversations with them.
Okay. Well, if we get to enable external developers to release ACP, then I don't see any reason for custom ACP for individual projects. I mean, they can do whatever they want, so it could be possible.
I'm thinking we could even add this topic to a future user group meeting as well. Talk about it a little bit more with the ACP team. Yeah.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah. Okay. And next question we have here is Spryker planning a complete SaaS solution like some of its direct competitors? You know them.
Okay, yeah, this is a question for product team, but I'm going to answer my personal opinion. So Spryker is a very customizable platform, and making it SaaS, in my opinion, would limit its capabilities. So I don't think it could happen, but I don't know, maybe for simple use cases in future, it can be possible.
Managed to have this ACP platform up and running, fill it up with multiple integrations which work out of the box, and provide some kind of interface for the customers to actually configure their software visually somehow through web interface or in any other way. But it's definitely a long run road up to this point. So I can't even tell if we are actually planning this or if it's something that might be happening in the far future.
What is your plan to remove Jenkins as a scheduler?
Okay, we don't have any plan to remove Jenkins as a scheduler on our roadmap? I asked this question to the product team 3 months ago, maybe. But I understand this question. I think this is coming because of generally the performance problem people are facing during data import and publish and synchronization. But Jenkins has nothing to do with that. It has a different problem. So Jenkins is just powerful, very powerful scheduler. And I don't know if we are using that much power, but yeah, we don't have any foreseeable future, any plan to remove it. Ievgen, do you know?
No, not really.
Great. Well, we do have a couple more questions that I don't think we'll get to today. And actually, some of them we spoke ahead of time might even be better answered by a different department. So we'll reach out to you if your remaining questions haven't been answered and try to put you in the right direction, or at least give you something of an answer as well. But very quickly, since we only have like a minute or two left, I just wanted to pop back into the chat for any open questions. There was a question on this slide. Heading back to, there we go, the PBCs. Guido asks, what languages would you like to use as an alternative to PHP for the PBCs?
Interesting.
The question was more for the audience.
Ah, okay. And we did see Hauke responded. Java comes to mind, R and Python could be useful. So there was that question. And then in the chat, I see Giovanni has two questions. They're a little bit larger, so I don't know if we will be able to answer them right now, but maybe one very quick one we could do is Spryker planning a Kubernetes solution? I might be pronouncing that wrong.
No, that's true, Kubernetes, yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, please continue.
Well, I don't have much to answer. I remember that it was mentioned in chats, probably related to the Docker a couple of times. There definitely were some experiments with Kubernetes, but it looks like the results were not satisfying. At least I don't know about any upcoming change to Kubernetes being announced so far. I do recall that few projects have already tried to switch to orb stack, and they had satisfactory results, but unfortunately they came out of beta, and this solution became paid, so they had to stop where they started with it.
Yeah, well, regarding the Kubernetes, we give cloud as a service also. So what we use behind the scenes in the clouds may not be that relevant in terms of PaaS. So if you are talking about on-premise solutions, we don't have any use cases for that I know, but you mentioned some customers are using it, right, Ievgen? But I have never worked with those customers.
About Kubernetes, no.
Kubernetes, yeah,
sure.
no.
That we know exact customers who will be using it. I'm more thinking about some experiments done.
Experiments, okay.
By Docker team or any enthusiasts from development who tried to come up with such solution, but I don't know much about the results. So probably they were not that great.
Okay. There's a second question about multi-stores, which I don't think we'll get to today, but I will add it to our question list that we have, since there were a few we weren't able to cover. But since we're out of time today, I want to give a huge thank you to our two spotlight speakers today. Thank you so much. I know it takes a lot of planning and preparation to come up with all the answers, and you outsourced to different departments as well and used your own expertise. So thank you for taking the time for us. And I think given the amount of questions we received, we would definitely be happy to do something like this again in the future. So those of you in the audience, if you have more questions, just kind of keep them in the back of your mind, and we'll be happy to host more Ask Me Anythings in the future. And for our two Spotlight speakers, if you have any final words, please go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the session.